agent who fired the shots was in fear of his life and the lives of his fellow agents. There are a number of videos circulating on social media right now. The ones in which you can see the agent who fired the shots, you will see 3 agents get out onto Portland Avenue and approach that vehicle. One of the agents was standing directly in front of that Honda SUV when it lunged forward. He fired 2 shots through the windshield. One of them, at least, struck this woman and killed her. Now, Jacob Fry, you heard him say that he doesn't buy the narrative at all, using the phrase BS there. Governor Tim Walz, with all the heat that he has been under lately, he said what he wants now is to get federal agents out of Minnesota.
We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait.
Now, chaos ensued immediately after the shooting. People descended on the scenes. They tried to push through the outer perimeter of the federal agents who were trying to keep the crime scene secure. That is when we saw the pepper spray come out. Tear gas came out a couple of times during the day today. The crowd remained on that scene, growing to about 400 strong at one point. But ultimately, they towed away that Honda SUV and a couple of vehicles that were hit by the car after the shooting, and that cleared the scene, and all law enforcement, federal agents had pulled out first, and local law enforcement maintained the scene, but there was still friction with the local law enforcement, meaning Minneapolis state and sheriff's deputies. They pulled all of them out, and that turned the protests at the shooting scene into a march. The march ultimately dissipated. You now have about 150 people still at that scene in South Minneapolis, and the crowd is quite emotional.
Shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area.
So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better. But I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
ICE out now! 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 ICE out now!
Well, you've heard of the Summer of Love in 2020, also centered around Minnesota, where the left burned down millions of dollars of buildings and killed many people and raped and robbed. And Governor Tim Walz ordered the National Guard to stand down. His wife said she opened the window to smell the burning smell of tires and homes. She loves communism. Well, now, just hours after a woman on video tried to run over ICE agents and kill them, they defended themselves and killed her. Walz comes out and says, I want the National Guard to stand with me to go after the feds, a civil war. And the mayor that just 2 weeks ago threatened ICE and said, you'll die if you're here. He's now calling for an uprising, and they're attacking law enforcement buildings, both local and state, federal buildings. They're rioting. Anybody in a uniform, they're throwing bottles at. The Democrats told us that they were going to have all this violent unrest, and that if finally ICE killed somebody, or Border Patrol, or the National Guard did, that they would use that as George Floyd 2.0. And now hordes of leftists in Minneapolis and surrounding areas are running around just viciously attacking people and attacking buildings. And this is just the buildup. And before it was even known what happened, the governor and the mayor were blaming ICE. And now there's the footage of her trying to run over the ICE agent, him getting hit, jumping out of the way and shooting her, defending himself. Because they call them Nazis, they call them criminals. You have all these Karens out there. This lady was a leftist, lesbian, sorry for her, who thought she was literally in World War II as Captain America fighting Adolf Hitler. And really, she was blocking federal agents with court orders to get hardened criminal illegal aliens with huge rap sheets.